It's Zethlon. Shh, everybody look at Zethlon.
Oh, yeah. All right. Wait, let me make sure something.
I guess we're not all right. We're just double checking stuff.
Yeah.
Zethlon was the momentary distraction.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
What's up,
I'm
guys?
Bwett.
I'm Oracle.
This is TLOC Talk. This past week has been insane. We had a great turnout for Shockwave.
Yeah.
We offered free pizza to everyone. There were like 30 entrants. Everyone had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some insane things that happened. Pretty cool. Had, what was Kirby Kid ends up.
Oh, God. The shield break.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he killed somebody at 25%. He killed P-Wing at 25% with Kirby. Just think about that for a second.
Yeah. All of us had no idea, including him. We had no idea what was going to happen. He did I forgot what the move is called, but it's down B
the
with
stone,
Kirby, the
rock.
stone. Rocked on P-Wing's shield. It hit with the initial hit, and it also hit with the downward hit. And both hits actually broke P-Wing's shield. And then he just started charging his hammer. And then at 25%, just flat out killed him.
Instant death.
Murder.
Mm-hmm.
Ill intent.
More of an execution than a murder.
It was execution.
He didn't have much of a choice to fight back.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Yep.
So that happened. If you want to check out those videos, check them out. They're up on our YouTube. As well as that, we had Super Bit Wars 3 this weekend up in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma guys, really nice. They took care of us. We streamed for them. And all of the Smash 4 videos are up. We're still doing a little bit more to get the PM videos up. Those videos, our component cable actually died, so we essentially went into retro mode. Some good old 480i action. You're going to see those interlacing lines pretty well. But whatever. Seeing Jay-Z play.
Oh, yeah.
That was really good.
It's pretty, yeah, he beat me. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was insane.
I didn't know what he was doing.
He was going deep.
He abused a lot of the things that that Denty doesn't abuse, and I've always hoped. I was like, man, I'm really glad Denty doesn't do this with his character, because I wouldn't be able to deal. Yeah.
So that happened, but yeah, Super Bit Wars.
Oh, he plays Ivysaur.
Yeah, he plays Ivysaur, and he plays it extremely aggressively, which is the exact opposite of what Dustin does. Denty, TLOC Denty. But let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the show today. We are going to discuss how to, number one, create a community. And then number two, if you are done creating your community and you have at least some kind of following, how to expand it and make it grow to a much larger size. Now, this topic actually came up from a lot of people posting in the comments of our other videos, Mindset of a Noob, and choosing your main. And with those videos, they essentially said, these are great points, but I don't have a community where I live.
Yeah.
Does this actually work with me? And so this topic actually came about because for you who essentially do not have a community. And so the first talking point is creating a community. So what are your thoughts on that? How should they start out?
Well, there's a lot of different ways to start. I'm experiencing this because between me and Zethlon, we basically just grew the Project M community here from absolutely nothing. Like, we didn't even have melee players or a brawl scene. There was just nobody in Dallas. And we just... the first real step is either tournaments or Smash Fests. Either one can come first.
Mm-hmm.
But you just you want to reach out to people through usually Facebook or whatever. Facebook Smash boards about either tournaments or Smash Fests. But whichever one you do, you want to make sure that it's sort of an easygoing atmosphere. People get intimidated if they think the tournament's going to be too serious or too hard. So you really want to market, if it's a tournament, it as just like coming to hang out and play a game that you all like and some people are good at.
So what did you and Alex do specifically? What did you start out with?
We started out with the Bowser's Revenge series. That went back to like early 2012.
Okay.
Because that's when Project M 2.0 came out, when we were just like, this game is great. Let's host tournaments for it.
Sure.
So Alex started Bowser's Revenge, which was at FX Game Exchange, which is now the venue for everything that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the old venue that Zach used for the phase tournaments in Brawl, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
It's true.
Question mark? Yeah.
It's true.
So we just started to get like smallish numbers, and then it was a monthly series, which is also important, having just like a recurring tournament that people know is like gonna happen every month.
Very important to have something recurring. That way people just know to always expect this.
Yeah.
Creates expectations.
Yeah, there were also lots of Smash Fests at the old apartment where Alex lived. Alex and this guy.
Yeah, me, Alex, UTD Zach, Shoes, and Justin.
Bunch of people who don't live here anymore.
Yes.
Yeah, so I would constantly go over there to play Sethlon and everybody else.
Yeah, I wasn't in the scene about then. I just watched y'all play.
From the dark corners.
Yeah, I would be like watching Doctor Who or Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and I'd just be like, I'm not getting into that. I know where that takes me.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting into it. At least it only worked for a little bit, and then it sucked me in.
It's too powerful.
It's too powerful. Okay, so you started creating just Smash Fest, and you started hosting a recurring tournament, Bowser's Revenge, and then what?
The tournaments slowly grew.
What did they start out with? Like how many entrants?
20.
20.
We could look up the old results threads if we really wanted to, but 30 was like, I remember the days when 30 was a big deal. It was like, whoa, we have 30 entrants.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Those were the days.
Those were the days.
Yeah. And then, so that sort of springboarded, because we had done, by the time 2.5 was about to come out, we had done about 4 or 5 Bowser's Revenges.
Mm-hmm.
Tournaments like that. Another thing that me and Alex did was travel a lot to tournaments and sort of worked to try and get Project M at different tournaments.
Yeah.
So, for example, the Who's Tyler series never really had Project M until we convinced the TOs to hold it as a side event, and then that grew a bunch of players out there.
That was about the time that I started coming to tournaments.
I think this was before. This is like,
I went to one of the Who's Tyler.
We had some.
It was right whenever 2.5 came out.
Yeah,
because I beat Dustin in tournament.
That was after we'd been having them there for a while. We started with like, I remember one time I just drove Zach and Alex out there, and it was an 8-man tournament.
By the way, Who's Tyler is like 2 hours away.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't a big deal. I had the Prius, so it was super cheap.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was another thing that I personally did, was give people rides all the time, because a lot of people couldn't make it. So I remember one time I borrowed my brother's big sedan, like it was like a Suburban, I think.
Okay.
It's big, and I drove like 6 people down to Fort Worth.
You were the soccer mom.
I was basically, well, it would have to be a minivan to be the true soccer mom.
You were Papa Rob.
Yeah.
Uncle Rob. You coming to pick me up, Uncle Rob? I'll be there in 30 minutes, Sonny.
Yeah, but lots of driving. I mean, you gotta put in the effort. But that was so the scene like took a big step once 2.5 came out because we didn't stop hosting tournaments and the game got more popular.
Yeah.
And just the tournaments would continuously grow, and then we got Brawl players interested in the scene, etc. And then the game was still pretty small until we had Low Tier City, which was the first Project M only national ever.
Oh, that was the first tournament I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hook, line, and sinker for me.
Yeah.
So I went to one.
Yeah. That one was a national, and for that one, one of the things that our tournaments were lacking was like new, really good players. This was before Project M was super mainstream. This was back when I had to deal with everyone thinking Jay Caesar was the best Rob because he played every Tuesday at Xanadu, and that was the only stream you could see Project M on.
Sure.
But I knew where the good players were. I knew about like Strong Bat. I knew Fly was really good. I reached out to him, and he showed up. And Reflex, the guy who actually won the tournament, showed up.
Yeah, and there was no stream, actually.
There was a stream, technically.
Well, I mean, there was a recording device.
No, there was a stream for the first day, but the internet was so garbage that second day we didn't have like stream people. I just asked people to run the stream.
Oh, wow.
And Alex was just like, let's just do local recordings. That'll be easier.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Who did it?
Lunchables, or it was like a combination of stuff. I think Keys provided like a microphone. Lunchables, I know, provided, I think, his computer, something like that.
So y'all just cobbled something together.
We
I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, it was on my channel and didn't advertise very well. We got like 50 people or something on the first day, and then it just didn't air the second day because we wanted to do local.
Whoops.
Yeah. But that was still big because that had like 68 people, and it was the biggest PM tournament ever.
Yeah.
So that was great. And I picked a specific location where we hadn't been having a bunch of tournaments, but where I knew there were players, which was mid-cities. So I basically chose an accessible location, and the venue fee was fairly inexpensive. It was only $10 at the time.
So how did you from that point, you said, I want to make a national. You chose a venue in an area that you knew had a sizable number of players that were interested. You chose a venue fee that wouldn't scare them off, essentially. And you, from that point, how did you decide to choose your rule set? How did you decide to advertise to be able to actually get those people that you knew were there and wanted something? How did you go from there?
I just did lots of online. I can't remember if I hung flyers or not. I may have. That's a big one, especially if you live in a town with a college or something like that. Hang flyers. Yeah. Flyers is awesome.
Yeah, just go to like, for instance, in Dallas, we have UTD, UT Dallas, and you could just go to the freaking on-campus apartments and just hang them up everywhere.
Yep.
And any college, they're all going to have, 20-something guys, like 20-year-old guys.
Yeah.
And 20-year-old guys, that's
your prime demographic. For people who think they're good at video games.
16 to 25. That area is excellent for Smash. Like, it hits a sweet spot. So just, going out there and just putting all that stuff. Make sure that you don't do things like, putting, 60, 30, 10 splits and whatnot.
Yeah, don't put a bunch of complicated info.
Yeah.
So, for example, Denty, when he had the first Apocalypse, he did that around Denton. He just put up flyers that he knew would get taken down every couple days. And then, but they didn't, I don't think they had Apocalypse or anything written on them. It just said Super Smash Bros. Tournament, $5 entry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that had like 84 people at it for a Brawl tournament. That was in a dead region. So it was
a Brawl tournament,
yeah,
which is crazy. Like, there was PM there as well, but it was a
There wasn't
Brawl.
PM.
Huh?
There wasn't PM.
There was. Oh, wait, Apocalypse 2.
Oh, yeah. Apocalypse 2 was bad.
I remember.
That
okay,
was,
I didn't go
yeah.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse 1 was actually, imagine just the front room of Epic with 80 people in it. Actually smaller than that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was my reaction. Yeah, that was... I mean, it was cool to have that many people, but we actually finished at like 4 in the morning at Denty's parents' house because it was like 1, and they were like, "You guys have to leave."
I remember y'all talking about that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, and there were just like 20 people in Denty's parents' place playing Brawl. That's when PM happened. We got PM out in like the other room when they were doing tournament sets.
All right.
Yeah.
So
flyers, back on topic. Flyers is really important. Flyers are really important because they, not everybody looks on Smashboards or Tourney Locator or Facebook for tournaments, although those are all important. I mean, I guess the overall message is that advertising in a lot of different venues.
One avenue is not enough for advertisement.
Yeah, you
got to
advertise
multiple.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Smashboards, Facebook event, that's the easiest. Tourney Locator.
Yeah.
I've gotten people who found my tournament by Googling it. So make sure you put all the information in the thread.
Yeah. Actually, some found Shockwave just from the YouTube videos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So and this is something that I consistently do now is I just whenever I have videos of a specific tournament, in the actual description, I'll say the tournament name. I'll have the tourney locator link. You can see this like on Super Bit Wars, for instance. I'll have the tourney locator link if there is one. I'll have the date, and then I'll have all relevant information about, how this was put on or how you can essentially get in touch with whoever you need to.
That's the next part, is that you need a live stream or a recording setup, preferably a live stream. Even if it's just like not great and you don't have that many people run it, if there's no footage of your tournament, it may as well have not happened.
This is so I would consider this a more current development. Obviously, if we go back
we didn't have
2
streams.
years
We
or
didn't
something.
have streams for
If we go back 2
any
years,
PM
that
tournaments.
wasn't like a relevant requirement or anything. And it's still not a requirement, but if you want to get something out there, it's really, really good to do that. For instance, we have Overzealous.
Yeah,
So-
it's a Wednesday tournament that's just in some guy's apartment. But they get numbers comparable to our Infinity and Beyond numbers.
Yeah.
Because Dominic, the guy who runs it, Zale is his tag. He just he records all the videos. They've got a great live stream. It doesn't get that many. It gets like 10 viewers. It's
Yeah, it's whatever.
it's small, but all the highlights, all the cool stuff that gets recorded, and then he can share that on Facebook. And there's a layout, and he's just like, you want to see cool stuff like this, come to Overzealous.
Yeah.
So that's been really helping his tournament. So that's something I would advise y'all do if you want to build a scene, is really just try to get matches recorded.
Yeah. And it's just very, I mean, if you can just have, one Giphy cat, that's insane. And it hits like Reddit, then people will see it, and whenever they see it, they'll wonder where it's from. They'll say, "Oh, Overzealous," and they'll see, supposing that you have your descriptions properly, they'll see that this is in Plano, Texas. What?
Yeah.
I'm in Plano, Texas. This is hype. I want to get hype. Let's do this, and then they just go. And like you may say to yourself, "Oh, but my videos are only going to get like 10 views, maybe 20 views."
Doesn't matter. That's 20 people who otherwise would not have known your tournament existed.
And that's 20 people who may specifically be in your region. That's 20 people that may be going to your tournaments.
Yeah.
So pretty important.
Yeah, video's important. Tournaments. Smashfest is a big one. I don't really know how it works in other regions, but specifically Texas and SoCal have big scenes, and they also consistently just have places where you can go to play Smash.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a tournament. I built the scene in Arlington sort of by accident. Every Wednesday I would just have people over, and I'd post about it in Facebook. So every now and then we would just see a new face or two, and those are people who've like stuck around, who I see at tournaments today.
Yeah.
You know, the Yoshi player at Infinity Beyond, Gabe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like he knew Jesse he went to UTA with me and Jesse, and he knew Jesse, but he never came to tournaments. And then he just, he started playing at my Smash Fests, and then,
really,
and now he comes to these tournaments, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Gabe's pretty cool, Yoshi. So I'll tell you sort of like how I began. So whenever I began doing things, this was back in the Brawl days, right? Brawl had just come out, and this would be the first game that I paid attention to Melee. It's just I didn't know that the competitive scene existed until Brawl was about to come out. So, I was practicing wave dashing and whatnot, but I would just be playing with my friends. And then so Brawl came out, and I just wanted to play the hell out of it. And I wanted everyone to come over. And so I was like, okay, well, Fogo was there at the time, and he and I became really good friends. And so it was like, F it, I'm just going to host a Smash Fest at my place I think it was Thursday. Every Thursday, we hosted a Smash Fest at my place. It was called Bwogo Fest. And, it started off small. It was just, 6 people. But, I mean, those people tell other people who... It's all about common interests. You have friends that like the game. They have friends that like the game. And it just slowly spreads out. And so, as we kept doing Bwogo Fest, then you would get rivalries, and you would get, awesome things happening. Just tell them, hey, give me $1, and then we can go out and grab some food or grab some drinks with the money.
Yeah,
and just have a good night. You don't even have to have a tournament. Just make friends, and that's one of the big things about creating a scene. It isn't about the competitiveness; it's about the community.
Yeah.
Because if you don't build the friendships, then it'll just disintegrate.
Yeah.
Which is really bad.
Yeah, because honestly, the best part about Smash, or really any tournament game, is the ability to play it with other people.
Yeah.
And that's why even in communities with more, the FGC has a lot more drama and just silly nonsense that
hardcore salt
than in Smash. But at the end of the day, still that's where people, make good friends and form lasting relationships. And you want to create an environment that's conducive to that.
Yep.
You don't want just hardcore competition 24/7. Go hard in the paint. You don't want to go too hard in the paint.
Yeah. So, I just started hosting fests. They got a bit bigger and started reaching 15 people, 20 people in my apartment. Then it would be, we got a call from Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's like, hey, we don't have a scene, but you have a Smash Fest. We're driving down to come to your Smash Fest. And that was Letien and, what was his name? It's Tom Vu, but his tag was Type X. It was Type X, a.k.a. Max Power. He tries forward smashes as long as possible, and it would be really hard to punish. It's all about this. Okay, I'm going to tell you, this is a nugget. This is a nugget of life. It's a life tip. This is a life tip. If you ever say this statement, man, I sure wish someone would do this, that is pure gold. You instead take that, you put it in your pocket, and that's what you do. You do it. Because that means that there is a need somewhere that no one else is providing, and you have come up with it, right? So all you people that have, posted comments is like, well, I don't have a community. I sure wish someone would host a tournament. Boom, you do it because you're the one that recognizes it. Accept the responsibility, and you can create a scene from scratch and create lifelong friendships.
Yep.
Like every single person in this household, there are 6 people that live here. You know how many people I did not meet from Smash? 0. I met all of them through Smash.
I definitely would not be living in this house if our community wasn't as good to where I would. Because I was here constantly in 2012.
Yeah.
So I knew everybody who lived here, and there was an opening. I was just like, "Hey, can I live here?" And they were like, "Cool." But that wouldn't be. That's all from having a healthy community.
Yeah.
I guess Low Tier City was sort of that moment for me where it was just like, I really wish people knew how good we were. I'm getting real sick and tired of everyone thinking MDVA is the good region because they have the most viewers. And then eventually we were just like, I'm really tired of nobody knowing what goes on here. Mm-hmm. So we started the stream.
Yeah.
Now we got a big stream.
Now we got a pretty good stream.
Yeah.
People like it. Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
People like us. They really, really like us. But so that's sort of like the beginning is just do it, right?
Yeah.
Create a friendly environment. It doesn't have to cost money. You don't have to have entry fees. Some people come because it's free. Some people come because there's money on the line. But most people come because it is a gathering of people that play a game that they love, right? So it doesn't matter what you do. So create your tournament, post or Smash Fest, post it everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Tourney Locator, all the places. Just post it everywhere, put out some flyers.
Okay, here's a subtle tip. Don't just post it once. You need every time you have an update. I like, for my tournaments, every time I do anything, I'll just space it out so that every couple of days I'll have a reason to post on Facebook to just keep activity going, and then it increases the chance it'll show up in somebody's news feed.
Yeah. Which is really smart. I never thought of that. And then you told me, it's like, I'm just gonna say something really ridiculous. What do y'all think about Corneria being legal at our tournaments?
Oh, that was
it's just like
my what was it? What was the tournament? Not the first tournament, but one of the first tournaments we had at Epic.
Oh yeah, you said what? I think you said Mute City.
Mute City and Brinstar were on,
yeah.
And I made this huge discussion about people wanting to play, and that tournament had like 80-something people at it, which I didn't expect, or even I didn't really want that because it was a small venue.
Get out.
It was the only tournament I've ever been to where we actually had too many setups. Where I said I told people you have to take your TV back to your car because there's nowhere to put it because there's just too many TVs.
Yeah, I remember that. There's so many tables. It was great. It was great. It was just like TVs in between TVs. Those TVs weren't even on.
Yeah.
So yeah, like those are, even with Infinity and Beyond. Infinity and Beyond started out in Infinity's apartment.
Oh, I was at the first one.
Yeah, and there were like 12 entrants or something.
There was 8 entrants.
8 entrants. There were 8 entrants
Single
at the
digits.
first one.
Yeah.
And it just kept growing until there were 40 people in that apartment. And they were like, well, we probably need to get a venue now.
Mm-hmm.
And like our stream was garbage back then.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
We had did you watch the Tourney Locator combo video that somebody did? Where it was chronological. So like the first couple combos were from like Infinity and Beyond 3.
Yeah, the videos were stretched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And it was like pixelated, and the freaking the webcams were distinct from the video game, and it was just like there's so many things that were bad, but it doesn't matter. We just did it. We had 10 viewers on a first time, 15 viewers. And then eventually after like 5 tournaments, we had 50 viewers. Woo! You know, it's just
I took my shirt off when we got to 100 for the first time. Which
was
awesome.
It was great.
That's somewhere somewhere in the archives.
You can find it. You can find it.
Maybe.
I highlighted it.
Yeah.
Like I just drew circles with arrows. Here it is, guys. Creamy nips.
Oh, God.
X marks the spot. But yeah, so all that matters is if you don't have a community, just do it. Because you have a community.
Yeah, you just don't know. You haven't brought the people together yet.
Yeah. Come together. Yeah, I'm not going to finish. But in any case, so that is creating a community.
Yeah.
Right? So now you've reached the point where, let's say you have, a decent showing. You got somewhere around like 20 people. And let's say you have a weekly and you have like a monthly.
Yeah.
You have a weekly and you have a monthly. And, there's a lot of interest in the game. So this is about the time where we were moving to Milo's, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people were interested in the game, and there was just a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out how to expand the community, how to make it grow so where it could just breathe on its own. Everyone would be able to do anything that they wanted to do, leading by example, things like that. So what are some tips that these people who've just created a community, what can they do to grow it even further, to go to the next level of just improving their community?
Well, a lot of that comes naturally with consistency, which is really important. So whether it is a weekly or monthly event, you need it to just not stop happening.
Yeah.
Because it's just a lot simpler. Because like let's say like every 5 new people, one of them is going to stay in the community or something like that. So the more consistent your tournaments are, the bigger chance that'll happen. Because like if it's someone's first time at your weekly and then next week it just doesn't happen, then they're probably not coming back the week after that.
Yeah, and then you have to ask yourself, and this is something that I ask myself regularly, is, okay, people are coming to our tournament. How can I make it such that anyone that comes to the tournament... I'll give you a classic example, right? Classic example. Polly R's first tournament. Polly R's first tournament, he comes, and it's the thing that happens. He gets placed round 1 with Sethlon. And that's the instance where I'm like, oh God, we've lost another one. Just like this guy is going to get completely manhandled, and he may go 0 and out, and he's just going to say, I hate this, I'm done. Those are the occasions where I am terrified because, Smash in general is a very friendly community, and we thrive through, our interactions with each other. And if someone gets a bad deal at a tournament, their very first tournament, they may think that that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, ways that I sort of curb that from happening is, and this is so number 1, if you are the TO, and this is really important, the TO sets the initial mood of the tournament, right? If you are cranky or angry or yelling or not smiling in general, it sets the entire mood for everything else. And people have to overcome that mood just so they can have a good time at a tournament.
Yeah.
Which is really important. So, number 1 is if you are the TO or you're helping run the tournament, that you're friendly, that you have a smile on your face, and that you recognize new and recurring players. Those are really important.
I'll always point out to somebody if I was like, "Hey, weren't you at this tournament?"
Yeah, because if you don't recognize people, if you don't take the time to communicate with people and just talk with them and figure out who they are and just have a great conversation with them, then what are they even there for? They've gotten their tournament fill and then they'll just leave.
Yeah.
If instead you focus on the fact that you remember this person and you're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm glad you came back. Good luck with the tournament." You know, if you focus on that friendship and just focus on the community as a whole, those people will come back every single week because they've started to create friendships and they feel welcomed in the community.
Yeah.
It's very hard for a new player to come to a scene where they know absolutely no one, right? And then stick around because they come into the community, they go to a tournament, they sit down, they play their tournament matches, and if they haven't met anyone, what are the chances that they are going to come back?
Yeah.
So that's really, really important if you're the TO or you're help running the tournaments. It just sets the mood and gets everything going.
Yeah.
So another thing is, and this was actually happening with number 1, our Shockwave, and number 2, at one point with Infinity and Beyond, is that things can start getting stale. Like, if, for instance, results never change, or everyone just sort of gets in a groove and they just sort of expect things to happen, changing it up, spicing it up in some manner completely changes the atmosphere from, "Oh, this is normal. I've come here on Thursday. I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to lose to this guy."
Yeah.
Go get it. It completely changes that to, oh, this is new.
Oh, yeah. I like side events.
Yeah, that's one way. And one way is side events.
Yeah.
So what kind of side events have you thrown in order to just sort of spark the interest of the community?
Well, one of my favorite ones was the one that I ran and also won was play your opponent's main. So when I didn't tell people what I was doing for the event, but just when everyone signed up, they had to tell me their main character.
Yeah.
And then I announced it, and it was just like, if you pay $1 to enter this event, and you'll play whoever your opponent mains.
Yeah.
And your opponent will play whoever you main, and you just see who wins.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's super cool. Another one that
also I won, which was the best.
one of my favorites actually was the Arcadian.
Oh, the Arcadian! We need to have another Arcadian.
Yeah,
Thank you
really
for reminding me. I'll have one. Well, that's coming down the pipipeline.
We'll
I'll figure that out. Yeah, don't worry about it, guys.
So for those of you that are unaware of the Arcadian, so you've established a community already, and since you've established a community, you probably have a PR with your community. The way College Station did it to grow their community was they hosted tournaments, a lot of tournaments, but they didn't charge a single cent for anything. They were just like, I just want to make the scene grow. So they didn't charge anything. They made their community grow enough. I think it was around 20 people. And then they go, okay, we have our community. Now let's figure out our PR. Their method for figuring out the PR, round robin with everyone in the community.
Oh.
It took apparently 3 months.
Jeez.
Which is awesome. Like, it's great. It's like,
That's
it's
insane.
It's awesome. I was like, I looked at them like they were Dr. Frankenstein. They had just come up with the craziest plan known to man. But you know what? It worked, and they created a PR with it. So it doesn't matter how you create your PR, just as long as everyone buys into it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. The PR is another big one. That's one of the ways that I grew the scene, was just starting up a PR.
Yeah.
Zach had a program, which is still available for use, just a simple modified ELO, where you just put in TO files. And I just put all the tournaments in TO files and then made a big thread where you could see your points, all the tournament results that were included, etc. And then that was one of the points where the scene just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Because then people had something to fight for.
Oh, yeah. Which is, if you can create something to fight for besides money. I mean, money is always a great thing. But if you can create something to fight for besides that, then it just makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
So once you've created your PR, you can have an Arcadian. What the Arcadian is that you essentially have a tournament where the top 10 are not allowed to enter.
Yeah. Or the top X. Basically, your top players aren't allowed to enter.
Yeah. So where your top X players are not allowed to enter, and that sparks huge amounts of curiosity with everyone, because they're like, now's my chance. And just, you can get so many people into your community just from that. I mean, we had Luck and Abstract Logic. He's from College Station. Those two guys, they made it to Grand Finals.
Yeah.
And did a Diddy Ditto.
They did Diddy Dittos on every Donkey Kong stage.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was great.
Oh, the best was when Abstract Logic was like, can we go to Jungle Japes? And Luck said, no, I want to go to a real stage. And the whole crowd just booed him. They just booed for the first minute of the match. And Luck just pauses and was like, let's just go to Jungle Japes.
So, and then, as well as that, what we did was the players that are good, whenever they impart knowledge to the players that aren't as skillful, then you can essentially create this waterfall of knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's what y'all ended up doing with Play the Pros.
Oh, yeah. That was the other thing we did, was all the ranked people, I just gave them $5, and then everyone else at the tournament could challenge them to a money match where they would only put up $1, and then that person, the ranked player, would put up all the money that they had earned up to that point.
Yeah.
So it would start as a 5-to-1 odds money match, and then if they win, then the next one is a 6-to-1 odds.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it was really cool because not everybody gets a chance to play the pros.
Yeah. In essentially a money match that has great odds in your advantage, and it costs so little money to be able to learn so much about the game.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another one. Whenever it was Brawl, we would have Duelist tournaments. Duelist was you end up creating a pyramid, right? And then you would all be snakes, and then you go under the pyramid, and then you would just up B and sticky, and you would just try to survive as long as possible. It was just this stupid thing, but it doesn't matter because it was fun.
Oh, I think the coolest Brawl side event that I saw was at one of the Bowser's Revenges. Or it might have not even been Bowser's Revenge at that point, but it had Project M and Brawl. And they did a side event where it was $1 entry, and it was 1 stock 1 minute matches. It was awesome. So it was just 60 seconds to try to kill your opponent.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's legit. And so you can do so many different things. It doesn't have to be extremely competitive. A lot of people will throw $1 at things just to have fun with it. Small point of knowledge is much easier to hold side events on a weekend tournament than it is to hold them on a weekly.
Yeah, because you can start the weekend tournament earlier.
Yeah, weekend tournament, you have all day to do that crap. And so you can, you have just an abundance of time. Weeklies are really constrained. You should probably focus just on one main event. Make sure you get out on time, and that way people can get some sleep for work the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's all sorts of things you can do. Just have fun with your community.
Yeah.
So those are several different ways of, building up your community once you've gotten it to that point. And then from there, you can start reaching out to other communities. You've built yours up, and now you've reached a point where it's like, okay, well, we have weeklies, we have monthlies. Well, now it's time to create a regional. And your regional tournament usually happens once every 3 or 4 months. And your regional tournament is going to hit, if you're a small state, states around you. If you're a larger state, maybe states around you, or just the other communities in your state. Like Texas is really big, right?
Yeah.
So if you're Houston, you don't ask for Arizona to come to your regional.
Yeah.
You just ask the other cities in Texas to come, because you want to focus on a 4 to 6 hour drive for regionals.
Yeah.
And hit those communities, and then you can make something much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever you're talking about national, that's just anyone can come. With regionals, if you put up $100, you can get a pretty good sized regional.
I always also advertise payouts to top 8, or basically just lots of opportunities to make money, which is really easy once you do the math. If you add $100 to the pot.
Yeah. So you can do that, and then once you have a successful regional, then you can start moving into nationals. Nationals, very, very difficult to pull off. Typically require you to have a hotel. Typically require you to put down, upwards of $3,000 to $5,000 just for all the different things that you're going to need.
Yep.
To be able to do it. Make sure you have a credit card.
Yeah.
And make sure that
most
you can
hotels
get it.
don't take cash. They don't take briefcases full of cash as
Yeah.
payment.
So
Most, I don't know. Maybe.
Don't ask Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah.
Johnny's not going to do it either. So maybe Uncle Frank.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm just coming up with Italian.
Yeah, he's the weird one.
Yeah, he's
Uncle
the weird
Frank.
one. God, with that nose.
Oh, God.
It's just freaking A. So yeah, this is sort of just a basic blueprint, if you will, of being able to build out your community and add expansions onto that.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else you'd like to say before we get into Q&A?
Not really. I think that's about it.
Okay, so guys, give us some questions in the chat, and we're going to do a quick Q&A for all y'all, and then
Let
we're
me get my
going.
phone.
Oh yeah, that would
might
be helpful.
Easier.
Rob's going to bring up the chat. I'm going to look on the other chat real quick. But yeah, spam us. We'll answer your questions.
Yeah.
Let me check
But
the chat real quick.
Don't actually spam us.
Spam us. Riot.
Okay. Oh, Lunchable. Oh, the ads go away. Crashing my phone.
But yeah, spam us.
Oh.
Turn that off.
Oh no.
Turn that off.
I'm trying.
Good Lord. Okay. So, while we're waiting, we have tomorrow is going to be the 2-stock versus 3-stock discussion hosted on Tourney Locator. We'll be hosting it. Kirby Kid is actually going to, with Project Smash, is going to be doing the moderation of the event. We're going to have big names within the community discussing and sort of getting a great understanding of where the community is pushing towards with the 2-stock versus 3-stock discussion of Smash 4.
Yeah.
So
tune in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have questions.
I forgot the time, but I'm going to post it on Twitter either tonight or tomorrow morning. I got to get that set up actually tonight.
Okay.
All right, so first question.
Smogon or Riot asks, Oracle, is that your preferred hairstyle, or has it not been cut in a while? Sort of both, I guess. Normally I get it cut because it starts looking bad, but I don't. It's just stayed looking okay. So, and haircuts cost money,
Yeah.
and I'm always just paranoid that I'm going to get a bad haircut.
Your face is actually being covered by the camera, by the way.
Yes, because I'm scared.
You've thrown him into utter
chaos. Okay.
self-conscious.
Oh God. Okay, so we have another one. Do you guys have big plans for the future, like nationals? We have a big circuit coming up called Aftershock, which there will be details on.
Yes, I'll be posting up. I'm going to try to get all the stuff up on Turning Locator tonight. If not tonight, it will be tomorrow. Things have been happening, so I haven't been able to get them. But Aftershock is going to be really big. If you are in the surrounding areas of Texas, then you can be a part of it.
Yeah.
Specifically Oklahoma and Arizona, we're looking at you.
Yeah. So message one of us or just post and we'll tell you how to include your tournaments. And it's going to be sick.
Yep, it's going to be great.
Okay, so Hero25 asks, this advice, will it also work for starting communities and other games? Yes.
Yes.
So all this stuff is universal and isn't just specific to Smash. So if you have a game you like, then these are the steps that you're going to use to grow the game, regardless of what game it is.
Yeah, and for the whole goal is just to hit avenues that you know that community is a part of. Like if you're really big into Street Fighter, then you should probably hit event hubs and Shoryuken.
Yeah.
And you can hit all the other avenues as well with your college and Facebook and Twitter and all that sort of stuff. If you're dealing with Magic the Gathering, you may want to hit up your comic book shops.
Yeah.
To just get something. Like if your Tuesday night draft or your Friday night Magic, if those aren't enough for you, then just freaking go to the comic book shop and just say, hey, I would love to host a two-headed dragon event every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And just go from there. It's all about just doing it, figuring out where your community is, and becoming a part of it. And if you don't have one, create it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so TC Grayson 595 asks, I'm having a 3DS tournament soon. What if I'm unable to get a capture card in time? What other things can I do that will prevent it just from being people staring at their 3DSs?
Okay, so this is actually something that we have been focusing on lately, and that is essentially icebreakers and meeting each other and being with each other, right? So one of the things I did at the last Shockwave is whenever everyone got to the event and the tournament was about to begin, I just said, hey, this is one of the requirements for you to be able to be a part of the tournament. You are going to go up to someone that you do not know at all. You're going to introduce yourself by your name, by your tag, and you're going to play them in a set with random characters just for fun, right? That way you essentially spur communication within your tournament. You spur communication within the community. People start creating small relationships with everyone else. And then you grow everything out. It can be something completely trivial, something completely stupid. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it's fun, and it gets people talking with each other. It gets people happy. That's it. That's it.
All right. I think we have time for one or two more.
Okay.
Slaps asks, how do you prevent cliques from being created within the scene? I'm sure Bwett is aware of the kind of cliques that formed within Brawl. You can't really prevent cliques from being formed. I teach, so that's just something I deal with. That's just, people just make groups and then are sort of exclusive. And if they're mean people, you're not there's really nothing you can do about that. But what you instead want to do is focus on making your community basically so great that it doesn't really matter if there's clicks.
I mean, in general, he's referencing things like so in Brawl there would be things like there is sort of a small camp where it would be Melee 1 and D4BA and his brother and a few others, and they would just sort of hang out and play. And then there would be another group of people that would be like me, Fogo, Shoes, Infinity, UTD Zach, and we would sort of play. That's just sort of friendships, and they aren't really necessarily cliques. They're just these people that really enjoy being around each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you are meaning cliques in the negative manner, then those are just people that you don't want to be around in general. Just leave them alone and just be with the people that you want to be with.
Yeah.
But you can't control that, and if you did control that, you would be perceived as a douche. So just leave it be, and as long as it's a friendly environment, that's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm. And the last question, Player 00. Is it a problem if your state has weekly tournaments, but in different locations every week? I would say yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's kind of hard.
That's really hard.
Yeah, if people have to deal with the location of the tournament changing. I'd be interested to know why the location can't just be the same every week. So if you wanna message me about that, I'm Rob Dixon on Facebook.
So the issue being that, okay, so whenever you actually start up your weekly, right, and you create your next event, right, people only have at most a week to prepare to say, okay, it's going to be here. And if you have like a big city like Dallas, the location can completely change from, oh, this venue is 5 minutes away to, oh, this venue is 40 minutes to an hour away. Like, those are really big things. And if people understand up front how much time they have to allot,
yeah,
then they can prepare and they know. But if you're constantly changing it, people can't keep up, and you're going to lose a lot of people because of it.
I mean, consistency is just so important, and the reason it's important is because the harder you make it to attend your tournaments, you know, this is a hobby to most people. It's not like something super important to their life.
Yeah.
You know, if you're making it so it's like, well, I don't know where the tournament's going to be this week. It might be 30 minutes away, and I can't go if it's that far.
They'll just say F it.
Yeah, they'll just say, okay, I'm just going to go do something else with my time then. But if you make it consistent, it's just like, wow, well, now I have something to do on Thursdays.
Yep.
I know I can always go to this venue to play Super Smash Bros.
They don't have to think about it. If you force them to have to think about it, then it just makes things very difficult.
Okay, so I guess that's all the time we have. Slaps asked one more question. Bwett, do you truly think I broke that TV? Lol.
You definitely did. Totally true. Slaps used his finger, his golden finger, touched the TV, and that TV just fell apart. Fell into pieces. Did not work anymore. He is
like a reverse King Midas.
Yes, he is the electronics whisperer, except he is the whisperer of death. He says your name, he whispers your name, Samsung TV, and it just dies.
Also, you're the worst hacky sack player I've ever met.
True story.
Yeah, no, every time we tried to play hacky sack at this one tournament, he would just join the circle, and when it came to him, he would just hit the hacky sack down and then leave. Although I do have to say, that's not at that same tournament, Steve kicked a hacky sack onto the building. So this was the venue of the first low tier city, but it wasn't that tournament. It was something else.
Yeah.
It was Brawl and Melee.
Is this Area 51?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that happened, and Steve he just kicked the hacky sack super high, and it was just... And then we ended up having to... I think we drove my truck right up to that, and then Austin jumped off of my truck to get onto the roof, and then he went to get the hacky sack and then came back down. Or maybe he climbed up a ladder. Basically, Austin got on the roof to get the hacky sack.
Nice.
It was pretty hilarious.
Austin's the real-life Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the only roof I've seen him climb a ladder onto, and that's a true statement.
Okay.
Okay, but anyways, that is about it. That's all the time we have for today. Okay. And thank you guys for tuning in.
All right. I'm Bwett.
I'm Oracle.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Do that.